Right, so Forza Horizon 4's tuning menu can be difficult to understand for beginners. So today's video, I'll be showing you how to use them as a beginner, and to basically just understand what everything means and how it will affect the way the car drives. So, beginning with tyres. Tyre pressure. Lower tyre pressure will mean that grip when not sliding isn't quite so good, but it'll mean if the car slides, it'll be more predictable and sort of easier to control and manage, and easier for you to regain control. Whereas higher tyre pressure will mean the car has more grip when not sliding, but can be a bit less predictable and sort of easier to like spin out or skid with. So basically just tune it based on how you feel. So like for me, I like to have it low because then it's more controllable and it's easy to gently slide it around and everything. But yeah, basically just tune it how you like. Just fiddle around, try out low, try out in the middle, try out high, and see what you like. Now for gearing, you've got final drive, you've got first, you've got second and third, and you've got the normal gears. So for this car, it has 6 gears. Basically final drive, you don't really need to worry about the actual gears themselves, just final drive matters really, because that adjusts every gear all at the same time. So you set it towards acceleration, the car will have better acceleration but a lower top speed. You set it towards speed, it'll have a better top speed, however won't have so good acceleration. So it's basically it's just sort of see what you like. I don't know, it's just tune it based on what you want. So if you're trying to make a car for tight, small circuits or lots of corners, not very many straights, put it towards acceleration. But if there's not very many tight corners and lots of long straights, set it towards speed. And just don't worry about the gears individually, because there's not much point to them. So just do final drive. And then alignment, there's not much in here to really worry about either. Do not touch toe, because that's where the wheel that adjusts the wheels where they're pointing. So that can make them be turning in or turning out, and that's just all that does is make the car worse. So just keep it at 0 degrees. And then obviously you've got camber. A little bit of negative camber's good because that helps with grip when under heavy cornering, but no more than say minus half a degree or minus a degree. And if you're in like a hypercar race car thing, maybe minus 1.5 degree, but no more than that is really needed on a race car. For a stance car, just do whatever. For caster, basically you don't really need to adjust this. It's fine as is. If you want to read the description to learn a little bit more, because the descriptions will tell you a little bit more than this, go in more in depth and everything. But basically, you don't need to touch this. But I believe for like drift cars, it's better to turn it up a bit. But I don't really know. I'm not very well versed. If I build drift cars, I don't bother with it, and they're fine. So I just wouldn't worry. For anti-roll bars, it's the same as tyres. Softer means it won't have so much grip and it will roll around a little bit more, but more predictable. Whereas obviously stiff is going to be better grip, going to have more grip, but it's going to be slightly less predictable. So I would always say, if you go for a hardcore race car, have it slightly stiffer but not too much. So maybe have it like halfway, have the power halfway. But usually have the rear slightly, as you can see from standard, have the rear slightly softer. And then for springs, it's the same as anti-roll bars and tyres. Softer means less grip, but a little bit more controllable if it slides. Stiff, better for racing. That's going to make it be able to corner better at higher speeds, give it more grip, but it can spin out easier. And again, just be careful, not too stiff, but don't go too soft either. So I wouldn't go less than a quarter than, like, this suspension is that it's as it is now. I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't soften it much more than this. And and I wouldn't stiffen it too much. Maybe another like third stiffer across the bar, but no more than that. And then ride height, obviously, you just have it low, but not too low, because lower gives it lower center of gravity, meaning corner faster. But too low means it can bottom out. So you want it something like that is decent. So it won't bottom out, but it'll have a decent amount of grip. And then here, it's the same as springs and tyres and anti-roll bars. And you don't need to adjust these, because these are like rebound stiffness is how the car bounces after going over a bump. Bump stiffness is how soft and stiff it is when going over, say, a speed hump. So just leave it as is. Maybe stiffen it slightly for for like proper high-speed race cars, but nothing too much. Just be gentle. Gentle's bad, not a great describing word, but sort of don't alter it too much. Just slightly change it to make it a little bit better, but don't over adjust it. Then for aero, obviously you slide it towards cornering, so to the right. That'll give you more downforce and more cornering. Means it will handle better and go around corners quicker and have more grip, but it'll decrease the maximum speed, and it also increases tyre wear and how much fuel is consumed. So if you're using, obviously tyre wear and fuel consumption is only affected by simulation damage. So don't worry about that if you haven't got simulation damage. But obviously, if you want a faster car, then put it towards speed. If you want a slightly faster car, I would say put it towards speed or towards the left. But this will mean the cornering, handling, and all that won't be so good. It won't have so much grip, but it will have. But obviously for simulation, as you might imagine, it's the opposite of setting it towards like cornering or towards the right. It will not wear the tyres and consume fuel as fast. So basically, if you're not really sure what to do, just sort of try around, see what it's like when it's all the way to cornering, and see if you like that. So try it in the middle, and then try it all the way to speed. But if you want maximum speed, just don't put any aero on, because that's best. And then for braking, you want, like I've got here, 65% towards the front for the balance is good, because as you're braking, the weight, most of the car's weight is on the front, so that means it's got more grip. So you want to take advantage of that grip by having more powerful brakes in the front, and obviously there's less grip in the rear because it's like a seesaw. So you don't want so much braking force in the rear, because else the rear wheels will lock up, causing you to skid or drift or whatever, which obviously isn't good. And the braking force, I put it down to 60 here, because what they say, it almost acts as like manual non-adjustable ABS, because this is how much force goes into the brakes. So you have it 0%, you'll have no brakes. No matter what you do with the brake pedal, nothing will happen. You have 200%. You go anywhere near the brakes and they'll lock up because there's too much force. And so I would say, if you want to be able, like 60% is good. If you just want it to be, so if you want to be able to slam the pedal and chances are the wheels won't lock up, this is good. But say you're going uphill, you may lose some braking performance. Because the brakes going up, obviously brakes going uphill, you'll have gravity as well, so you can get away with with putting more force on the brakes. So I would say, for any sort of decent driver who hasn't got ABS installed, because if you have ABS on, the force is pointless, isn't it? You don't need to worry, but only the balance applies to people that have ABS on. But if you don't have ABS, then I would say have it at 100% and then manually control how much brake you do. Manually be careful. So like, don't use too much braking. Just use as much braking as you can without locking the wheels up. So obviously this will be different going uphill, flat and downhill. So you've just got to sort of try out the car and just learn what it's going to be like, and then apply the brakes based on differential. This is basically going to be like how the so if you have it high, the This is only if you have like a racing diff. This will mean the diff will lock up very easily, and both wheels will spin the same. So if you have it too high, you will find that both wheels will both wheels will be turning at the same amount of speed, and that's not good because that'll start a skid, because obviously the inside wheel on a car needs to spin slightly slower. So something like what the game gives you from standard is good, and obviously low, having it too low will mean you'll just get one tyre fire, and obviously that's not good because you just get loads of wheel spin, and that's not good power delivery. And then for all-wheel drive cars, you can also do the rear. Sorry, you can also do the front. This only allows the rear, but you can do front as well, and you can change the balance. So you can have a front-wheel drive bias, or a rear-wheel drive bias. So the car will be, so you can set it to be more of like a front-wheel drive car or more like a rear-wheel drive car. 65% towards the rear is good because under acceleration, more of the power goes towards the rear wheels. So I would say that is better. So slightly towards the rear, but not too far, because then you'll get, you know, a rear-wheel drive car, and that's not so great. So that does it for the tuning menu. I hope this helps you in some way. And I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you directly.